The holiday that's upcoming, the holiday of Passover, every Jewish family gathers around the Seder table and we celebrate the holiday with the rituals of the Seder night. And what we'll notice is if we analyze what we do on the Seder, on Passover, we'll notice some contradictory themes. On one hand, it's a night where we act like royalty. There's a mitzvah, for example, to lean in the manner of the kings of yesteryear, to lean when you drink the wine and when you eat. That's a mitzvah, because on this night, we're kings. We were redeemed. Similarly, we are obligated to consume 4 cups of wine. Similarly, because that is the manner of those who are free. Free people, and we're like kings. We are no longer slaves. And that's kind of the major theme of the night. We're kings, we're like royalty. On the other hand, the mitzvah, the primary mitzvah of Passover, is consumption of matzah. And matzah, as we know, is labeled with the term bread of affliction. So what is it? Are we kings, or are we just to consume the bread of affliction? In more precise terms, the bread of the poor, lechem oni, the bread of the poor. So what are we? Are we the wealthy class? Are we the aristocracy? Are we royalty? Are we kings? Or are we poor? And what is the meaning behind these two divergent themes that unite on the holiday of Passover? Passover is the holiday of redemption. We were slaves in Egypt. We were restricted. We were bound. We were shackled to the whims and the will of Pharaoh and the Egyptian masters. We don't have the opportunity to make our own decisions, to blaze our own course for ourselves in our lives. And comes along the Exodus, and the Almighty miraculously redeems the Jewish people, and we are now henceforth free persons. We could do whatever we want. But even today, in 2014, in the United States of America, most of us are dealing with internal challenges, internal turmoil that makes us no different than slaves. And how's that? Because we are also bound by the whims of our instinct. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by that if you, my friend, were to decide that you want to, do something to change the world, right? To deal with the major problems facing the Jewish people, to decide that you are no longer using your cell phone on Shabbat, which is a great example. You want to do a wireless weekend, which is a wonderful thing. And everyone knows, and people know, that it's a very healthy thing to take 26 hours off from using your cell phone. Right? It's good for you, it's good for your social life, it's good for your intellectual life, it's healthy. But let's say you were to make that decision, or anyone, or most people, not everyone, most people, you would have a very hard time. Why is that? Because on a certain level, we are also enslaved to our phones and to our way of life, and we are very inflexible in how much we can change. So in a certain capacity, in a certain sense, there's a certain measure of slavery that we experience today. And if we want to teach ourselves, if we want to enable ourselves, if we want to open up the wonderful world of willpower, the ability to make choices and decisions and stick by them, and to free ourselves of the servitude that we also have today, what we're going to need to do is to adopt the bread of affliction. What does that mean? Affliction means it's difficult, it's hard, it's painful. If you want to free yourself of your own slavery, it's going to be painful. Okay, so that's number one. But number two, what you need to do is you have to be like matzah. Matzah is it's very unpretentious. It's very minimalistic. It's very limited. You need to learn to limit yourself. If you want to say, I want to abstain from my phone, you have to limit yourself. You have to say, I am not doing it. And and that's very challenging. It's very difficult. It's very painful. It's affliction. But ultimately, that is freedom. That brings you to freedom. So in a sense, the holiday and the lesson of Passover is that true redemption, for us today, from the things that bound and constrict us, may entail, or most likely will necessarily entail, affliction. If you want to be free to make your own choices, to decide that you want to do something, even though it's maybe unpopular, right? Because it's right. Or you want to accomplish wonderful things and you have things like this that stand in your way, right? But if true freedom demands a little bit of affliction. So in a sense, that the two elements, the two contradictory elements of Passover complement each other. Matzah, bread of affliction, self-affliction and self-limitation, to create limitations for yourself, to say no, to learn how to say no to yourself, that is the path to freedom. That is the path to being the king, to being in complete control, to have dominion over your decisions and over your future. Happy Passover.